It all started when my roommate, Kyle, went missing. At first, I didn't think much of it. He was the type of guy to randomly disappear for a weekend without telling anyone. But after a week, I got worried. His room was locked, and no one had heard from him. His phone was dead, and his social media hadn't been updated in days. I reported him missing, but the police didn't seem too concerned. Maybe he needed some time away, they said. But I knew something wasn't right. We had been living together for over 2 years, and Kyle never went anywhere without telling me. The only strange thing I could remember was that a few days before he disappeared, he had started acting weird. He'd come home late at night, looking pale and jumpy. When I asked him what was going on, he just brushed it off, saying he was stressed about work. A couple of days after I reported him missing, I decided to break into his room. I know, it sounds extreme, but I had to know what was going on. His room was dark, the blinds drawn shut, and it was freezing cold. Kyle always kept the heater on full blast, so the chill was unnerving. His bed was made, but the thing that caught my attention was his desk. It was covered in papers, maps, diagrams, and what looked like a floor plan of our apartment building. In the middle of it all was a notebook. It was open to a page filled with frantic, scribbled handwriting. The only thing I could make out was one line repeated over and over again: "There's another door." I didn't know what that meant. Another door? Our apartment had two, one to the outside and one to my bedroom. But something about those words made my stomach twist. That night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about Kyle and that notebook. Around 3 a.m., I heard a noise. It was faint, like the sound of a door opening. My heart raced. I thought I was just hearing things, but then I heard it again, closer this time. I got out of bed and opened my bedroom door, peering into the hallway. Nothing. But then I heard it, the faint creak of a door closing, coming from Kyle's room. I crept down the hallway, my pulse hammering in my ears. Kyle's door was ajar. I slowly pushed it open, and that's when I saw it. There was a door in the wall that hadn't been there before. It was small, just big enough for someone to crawl through, and it was slightly open. A strange light was seeping out from the crack. My instinct screamed at me to close it and walk away, but something drew me in. I crawled through the door. What I saw on the other side still haunts me. It was like our apartment, but wrong. The layout was the same, but everything was old, decaying. The walls were cracked, and the air smelled like mold. It was cold, so cold my breath fogged up in front of me. I walked through the apartment, every step echoing in the silence. And then I saw him. Kyle was standing in the middle of the living room, staring at the wall. His clothes were torn, and his skin was pale, almost translucent. I called out to him, but he didn't respond. It was like he couldn't hear me. That's when I noticed the wall he was staring at wasn't a wall at all. It was another door. Bigger this time, and it was wide open. I could feel the air sucking me toward it. "Kyle!" I screamed. But he didn't move. Suddenly, the door started closing. I ran toward it, trying to grab Kyle, but the force of the door pulling shut was too strong. Just before it slammed shut, I saw something move on the other side, something dark, with glowing eyes. The door closed, and Kyle was gone. I scrambled back through the small door into my own apartment. The second I was back, the door in Kyle's room disappeared. I tried to tell the police, but they didn't believe me. They said Kyle probably ran away, maybe to start a new life. But I know the truth. There's another door, and whatever's on the other side took Kyle. And I have a feeling it's coming for me next.